Hello again. I'm assuming if you are watching this video that you are interested in how to get started building your own chicken coop and run and hen house. So I'm coming from you today inside of our coop because our hens have started to lay. This is going on to the third week. And the girls are all in here visiting right now. So stay tuned. I'm gonna post how we built this, starting with the drawings, kind of a rough sketch, and then go into the build. This is the first of three. I'll break it into three sections. Here we go. Where we wanted to put the chicken coop and run. We wanted it to be a flat place. We wanted it to have shade. And so we decided, okay, we are going to have it in this area that you see me digging where there are trees. So the foundation of the coop and the run, we said is going to be 10 foot wide. The shed itself is a 10 by 10, and the run is a 10 by 20 foot. And so there's a little bit of a slope here. And so what I've started to do is we are using these 6 by 6 treated pieces of lumber. And so I am cutting the ends because I'm going to lay them crosswise. So you'll see here in a second, after I get the ground leveled out, I've cut out, I don't know which notches in not all the ends, because obviously this end that I'm putting together now had to butt up against one another. But the end that will go where I'm measuring next, it will lay on the board that was cut before. So I did see this trick on a video that I watched online. Bolts that we found. So if it's a 6 by 6 board, it's actually roughly 5.5 inches. So you cut half of that. So like 2 3/4, I think is what it ended up being, so that it would lay level on the. Here you can see me using the saw to like slice into it. And then I use, well, you can use the end of a hammer, or you, like here I was doing the end of a hammer, but I also have a wood chisel to help smooth it off. But we ended up screwing these together. I've got some 8-inch coated timber screws, and then I also used some 10-inch ones. And so what I used on this part was the 8-inch, and then for the where they joined, but when I wanted to lay a 6 by 6 on top of another 6 by 6, because I actually at one end of my coop, at the lowest end, it was a difference of probably, well, if I use three 6 by 6 is about 18 inches. So you'll see at this end is the bottom timber actually lays almost level across in the end of my chicken run. And so that's what I'm doing here, is that I'm doing the end of the chicken run. So this will actually have 3 boards to finish it. And then it goes up to my hen house, which you can see that the hill, as it goes up, I have to dig more. And then the husband showed up here to help me out a little bit. But as I dig deeper, less of the boards will show. So then I don't end up having to sink as many going up the hill. So I ended up using I think it was a 12-foot and a 10-foot, so that I would have some overlap. So I wouldn't have to go and dig all the way up. So as you watch the video, you'll see, and here's where I screwed up, because thank God we didn't put the timber screws in until we had the bottom layer done. So just a lesson learned was, once we got everything together, make sure it was square and level. And then my hubby came along and pre-drilled these for me. And then I came behind him and we screwed it together. So here you can see the 3 layers that we have at this west end of my chicken run. And so, which works out great, because the chickens will come out of the hen house, which is actually to the east side here, and the closest end is to the west side. And so if any moisture or rain or water or whatever happens to get in to this chicken run, it'll run down away from the hen house. So something to think about when you're looking for a place to put your hen house in your run so that you don't have standing water. And this is still day one. And I did use it. These timbers are extremely heavy. And so I did use smaller 2x6s because these are 6x6s. And I used smaller 2x6. And then my hubby ended up doing the floor of the hen house here. I think I was out of town at this point, and so he got this done for me. Um, Again, we used exterior treated wood. I know it's going to be covered. You don't need to use the treated lumber here, but again, this is going to be. I didn't want a chicken coop that after so many years we'd have like rot or insects or so we chose to use the tree lumber. It costs a little bit more, but in the long run, I think we'll be happier with it, and overall, it should last. And if you see here, you make sure that if anything shifted from the run to the hen house, we didn't want it coming apart because even though the run technically isn't connected to the hen house structurally, we are going to be using the hen house for some supports like the roof, the beam that we're going to tie the roof rafters to, because we are going to put a roof over the run, same roof that we're putting over the hen house. And we did end up switching this around a little bit because we wanted to have the roof run opposite the hen house. Initially, when I drew this up, it was going to be running the same direction as the hen house and the shed. So here we're just putting the floor down. And then I've got some drawings also of, just so you don't have to buy, over purchase the wood. So what we did was we drew up, want to cut the wood so that we don't have the least amount of waste. And I'll put that down here as well. Because I wasn't sure initially if I was going to paint the floor, or if I would just leave it. So either way, I decided treated wood. I could either leave it just the raw wood, or I could paint it eventually. So the treated wood, if it gets wet or damp going in and out in the rain or the snow, because we do live in the Midwest. So here we're actually building the first wall. And this, we decided that I wanted to put in the two barn doors and I wanted to make them Dutch doors. So I wanted to either have the option of having just the top open and not the bottom, or if I wanted to have both of them open, or if I wanted to get a wheelbarrow in there. So we made sure that it was at least 4 foot wide. And then I wanted to have two windows that I could have open if I had those doors shut. So we decided to put the two windows in on each side of the door. And then he's building the header for the door. And he did the double supports. We really beefed up this wall. So that's why I see a lot of extra layers of 2x4s in here. Because even though it's only a 10 by 10 shed, and technically we didn't have to put all the extra supports in there that we did. And we didn't have to put in, the headers for the windows and the door, because it's a shed. But we decided we were going to just do the headers anyways, because there's a reason why they put headers in for construction. And I am not a construction, engineer, or haven't done this. This is really our first from scratch build of anything that we've done. And now we're building, again, the spotlights helped a little bit. So this is just us completing as much as we can, because we started this, our chickens were little, they were in the basement, and it was, if anybody's raised chickens from little chicks, from day old chicks, they're super cute when they're, chicks, and we had them in a little, it got pretty dusty pretty quick. So we were in a hurry to get these chicks out of my basement and into their hen house. So we were going a few hours into the night. Luckily, we had some spotlights and extension cords we could keep working. So the side we're working on now, that's the side that will go into the run. And so if you can see, we framed in a window because I thought I wanted the option that I could either look into the run or not. So we did frame in the window there and then for the door. And so next we are getting ready to I think finish up the next two walls, and he's securing the if you notice, you put a second 2x4 on top. So that second 2x4 ties in the first wall because it overlaps that first wall and it helps to tie it in. He also nailed the walls together on the sides. And so this is the back wall. This is what we framed in the garage because again, you can see it's pretty darn cold out here. And thank goodness he was in the process of working in his garage and it was cleared out enough that we could build these walls on the floor here. So I'm just measuring and cutting. I do have all the dimensions and that I pre-drew. It really helped to pre-draw out these walls and what I thought I wanted, and then because then we could just start to build them. So I used graph paper, and I'll show you the pictures here that I did draw for these doors here and these. What I should have done here was take into consideration the height of the coop roof and where the run roof hit the coop wall, because the window on the coop wall needed to be lowered after we put the roof on since it hit the top of the window frame. Here we did draw to scale the height of the coop boxes to my height. Drawing out the plans and adding the measurements helped us quite a bit down the road to estimate how much lumber we would need to frame in each wall. And we did make some mistakes that we realized after the fact in some of the building process, but I'll add that later in a video on my lessons learned in building this coop and the run, or what not to do when building a coop, so stay tuned for that video. I'll wrap up this section of the build since by now we've built the foundation of the run and the coop and all the walls. And so you'll see here we're just finishing up the last of the fourth exterior wall in the garage here, and we're just finishing up the top boards on this wall. So if you enjoy this video and you find it helpful, please like and subscribe. And again, thank you for watching. It was a little bit dark, so these are the lines that happen to come into a video when you are time-lapse recording in the evening and using LED lights. So thanks for watching, and post any comments below.